What's up, my mech heads? How you doing? Today we have an awesome intro video for you on this lovely game, Gundam Versus of Char's Gelgoog. Char's Gelgoog is freaking amazing, and I can't stress that enough. I really can't. Really excited to do this video. It's one of my favorites of Char's. Char is just amazing, both as a character and as a pilot. And man, whenever he gets into a mobile suit, he really makes it shine. So every version of his that is his own has always got some pretty cool things to it. So where can you find Char's Gelgoog? Not in my favorites list, but in the mobile suit Gundam tab. He will be there in the Char mobile suit row for some reason, or I guess the Xeon row, I guess you could call it. Char's Gelgoog is a 300 cost various type, so it will cost 300 points to respawn upon death to you or your team. And since it is a various type, you can choose either gear because it is balanced between both range and melee. So whichever gear you choose is up to you. Personally, I like blazing gear with the Gelgoog because I do a lot of melee attacks. Getting into it, we always start off with mobility and added animations in movement. The Gelgoog has none, but he does have some pretty cool tricks that we will show later on. Getting into the basics of the command list and how limited it is, we have the rifle, we have the twin blade, which I cannot say the name of it for some reason. Don't mind that. We have some charge attacks and some counters and some spinning. Spinning is fun. You'll see why. So some things that make Char's Gelgoog very interesting, including his burst, is that it does some things that some people are afraid of. And I hear this all the time. Like, you either love playing the Gelgoog or you hate seeing it on the battlefield. So starting off always, his rifle does not manually reload, and if you charge it, you get an awesome 3-hit mobility combo, which can also dodge incoming fire to an extent. Char's L1 throws the twin blade saber. If you press it neutrally, it does a wide spin. If you press forward, it does an extended wide spin, which stuns on impact. If you press left or right, it does the neutral throw, but in either direction. And if you press back or down and L1, it will throw a tight, small spin, which is very good for very different situations. If you need to hit multiple enemies or a single target enemy, or just throw it out there to make your opponent stop in their tracks. If you hold melee, you will charge up the L1's meter. So what is the L1's meter? Well, you charge up the twin blade and you get 3 charges. If you charge it once, he throws it and it just hits the enemy. If you charge it 2 times or greater, it becomes a stun. So you have multiple stuns with Char's Gelgoog, which is great for combo potential and great for setting up your teammates with finishing moves. So if you press L2, this is the spinning I was talking about. A lot of people hate this move because it's so hard to hit. When you see him spin, he's actually moving to the left or the right, depending on which direction you press it in, and you can dodge incoming fire. If you press it neutrally, he'll spin to the right automatically. Your R2 is a melee counter, which I have some really good footage of that later on in the gameplay section. Getting into melee, the neutral combo is a 3-hit slash, which has 2 additional attacks. So during your neutral melee combo, if you press forward, Char will spin the twin blade forward and do a attack, lunging the enemy downward. If you press back, he does a pokey pokey stabby stabby move. Yes, I said that. And it does really good damage. Depending on the situation, depends on what you do with it. If you press left or right, my personal favorite attack, I use it probably too much. and melee, he will do this awesome spinning attack that lifts the enemy into the air at the end, giving you an additional extension if you want to do more combos. Forward in melee is Char's standard kick to the face, if you want to call it. Char's dash attack is a spinning blade frontal, and Char's back or down and melee is a counter. So he lunges with the shield, which does damage, and if you press melee again, he will kick your enemy for more melee potential. So unlike the RX-78, where you just dash forward and you just repel incoming fire, the Gelgoog actually hits people with the shield. Just wanted to show off my personal favorite combo. Anyway, getting into gear activation, I did not find any changes or any extended animations with Char's gear activation, but that doesn't mean that changes aren't there. Depending on which gear you activate, you get various bonuses, which is up to you and how you play, but it does increase the animation speed no matter which one you pick, and the charge speed of your attacks. So keep that in mind. Char's burst is very, very interesting. He summons Lala, his lover, and has her ram the enemy and finishes it off with an attack. Funny note, I actually never saw the rest of that attack before I did this video because most people dodge that move, or I just wind up ramming Lala into the ground and not moving because they move so fast. Kudos to this guy. I really want to say this before I get into the tips, because I was really hoping for a melee opponent and I got one randomly, and I don't know if this guy was in here to practice or new to the game or whatever have you, but man, I felt bad because pure melee, pure fighting types are, oh, they hate Char's Gelgoog with a passion because of the melee counter. And that's how we'll start off the gameplay tips. Char's Gelgoog is really balanced for both offense and defense, but his defense is his offense. So with the melee counter, you are every pure fighting type's worst nightmare, because you will just counter everything they do, and there's nothing they can do about it except try to get around your counters and try to get around your defense, which is very hard to do. Char's Gelgoog can block both range attacks and personally counter melee attacks, even if the melee attack is from range. So as you see with Epion's whip, it's considered a melee attack even though it's from range, which still counters the Epion and stunning it even if I'm not directly in front of it. Char's Gelgoog is an amazing craft, and I don't know why it's a 300. It feels more like a 400 cost, to be honest, because it can keep up with almost everything, and if not even shut down almost everything. Its defense makes it really great, where it can repel attacks, counter attacks, but also control what your opponent does. Your opponent has to think twice before approaching you. For melee types, they have to try to figure out a way to get around your defense, and for range types, they have to figure out how to keep you at bay but also deal damage if they can get past your shield. If you're a new player, Char's Gelgoog is going to feel a little technical at first, but it does have its upsides, as I've explained, and I'm not going to repeat them. But in multiple fights where you're fighting like multiple enemies, or 2-on-2 or 3v3, you're going to feel slightly at a disadvantage. The Char's Gelgoog feels great as a one-on-one, in my opinion. Like one-on-one, it's supreme. Like your opponent's gonna have the hardest time fighting you. When it comes to 2v2 and 3-on-3, it can be a little chaotic depending on the team you're going up against or your partner or how the strategy is. You know, strategy is key in this game. So having to focus on multiple targets at once can sort of limit your ability to really make Char's Gelgoog shine. There are some veterans that can completely own a battlefield, and it's amazing. There's one guy, his name is Blue Lightning. That guy with Char's Gelgoog inspires me. He can destroy multiple people without a flinch. But for me, it's really hard to focus on two different enemies and try to lock them down and counter them, and then, you know, keep the pressure going and stuff like that, etc., etc., etc. So if this is the mobile suit you're looking to play, I say you have a great advantage on the battlefield. Sorry, I had to clear my throat and my sinuses. And I say you have a lot of room to have fun. You can be flashy, you can be cool, you can do damage, you can evade, you can have a defense, and you can learn the game while still having fun with something really cool at the same time. As always, that's it for me. If you're a veteran or you main Char's Gelgoog and you have some additional tips or guides or analytics that you would like to throw into the comment section for other new players, please feel free to do so. And as always, which you can find me here on my YouTube channel making more Gundam spotlights. Subscribe for more videos, intros, and help, and I will see you guys out on the battlefield. Peace.